Well. Where do I start? Where do I start? I don't. I don't usually do these live stream videos where I'm talking to people, but I'm angry. I'm very angry, and the reason I'm angry is I really don't think people actually know what's happening in the Congo. I don't think people have an idea, a sense of what is happening in the Congo. I mean, if I have to say the last time I actually had a live video, I usually just don't do a video where I'm talking. I think it's really very important to do this video because. So let me just share what's going on, okay? I have a grandfather. He just passed away. My grandfather, my name is Kambale. No, I am from the east of the Congo. I'm specifically from North Kivu. North Kivu, specifically from Beni and Butembo. So I have family members there. And for anyone who knows what's happening in the east, they know they are literally massacring people in the east, in Beni and Butembo. You know how they're massacring them? They're taking machetes. They're going to Beni. They're going to Butembo in the route that takes you to Mbao. They're killing people. When they kill people there, the population that's still alive flee. Right? So I have grandparents. Right? My grandparents had to run from the killing that was happening in the east. They had to run away. So my grandfather also ran away. He's in his 80s, 89, I think, was born in 1935. So think about the 88-year-old last year running away from being killed, right? And then beyond him running away, last month, he got so angry at what's happening in the Congo. And he even told all the family members, right? He got so angry at what was happening in the Congo, and he says he's not gonna eat again. So my grandfather, at 89 years old, he decided to stop eating. He didn't eat for a week. He didn't eat for 2 weeks. And the third week, last week, he died. Right? So he starved himself to death, and this is what the family is telling me. Okay? My family is telling me that my grandfather, at 89 years old, starved himself to death because he said he was tired of running away from the war. This is the story of my grandfather. My grandfather was part of the MNC movement in the 60s. He was also with the Mulele. They came to my grandfather's home, my great uncle's home in 1960 after they assassinated Patrice Lumumba. They joined the resistance. They came to our family house to try to get him. He had to flee the Congo, run to Rwanda, come back, get my mother. They all ran away. My mother, growing up, she was sharing with me how they had to hide in the Ituri forest. My grandfather is one of the greatest fighter in the east of people who have stood up for the Congo. So imagine at 89 years old, he's going to decide for 2 weeks to not eat. He did not eat. He starved himself to death, and he died last week. So the whole entire time when we got the news that my grandfather passed away, I'm still traveling. I'm still doing some work with other Africans around the continent, just building. I had to think, how do I even process what just happened? So they buried him. They buried him last Friday. So my grandfather was buried last Friday, and the people had to leave Beni to go bury him to Mbao. So my family has vast land in that area. to just come back. I said earlier that my family had to flee when the people were, they call them les égorgeurs. They come and just kill people and people move. Where my grandparents used to live, everyone has fled. So if you walk into town, there is no one in town. Those are empty houses. And before he passed away, he did say that he wanted to make sure that he's buried in his land. So even people who decided to go take my grandfather's body to bury him, everyone was afraid that you're leaving a peaceful area, you have to go through where the les égorgeurs are, you may get killed in the process and so on. So everyone is just moving, right? And I have the videos. I haven't shared the videos of the funeral or anything. I think just to respect the family privacy. I mean, they're still in the area. So hundreds of them moved. They went and buried my grandfather in our family land. Okay. So that was Friday. So I get a call today. People have no idea what they're doing to the people of the Congo. I mentioned that there are these houses that's empty. About a few months ago, people found out that there were these unknown folks coming from you don't know where, who have moved into these houses. They didn't speak Lingala, they didn't speak Swahili, they didn't speak Hinande, they are not from the area. I don't need CNN to tell me what's going on in the Congo. Okay? I don't need BBC. My family members are being killed. My own uncle was a priest, was found killed, 3 years ago. He was a Catholic priest in the area. He was kidnapped by the so-called ADF, and then we found his body 3 years ago in pieces. Another priest that I work very closely with, Father Bachosi, we built the website Beni online in the beginning, putting information about what's happening in Beni at the time. I had to find out the death of Father Machosi on somebody's Facebook post where they posted an image of his dead body there. But not even to talk about even Father Machosi or my grandpa. So let me just get back to my grandfather. Okay? So they buried my grandfather last Friday. First, the so-called Ebola aid workers came to our family and wanted to take my grandfather's body, saying that he had Ebola. Of course, the family resisted. What they wanted to do was to burn his body. Of course, the family resisted. They came, they now took body samples to test his body if he had Ebola. Of course, he didn't have it. And then I said, wow, now you can bury him. So that was already stress to the family. Then my grandfather get buried on Friday. And some people are returning, as those who couldn't come. So guess what's happening? In my family land, where they bury my grandfather, our land, and in our home in Beni, do you know who's living in our house now? The Congolese military has taken over our house, staying in our house. And everyone in the family are saying, we ran from the conflict. What are these soldiers doing in our house? And not only that, the Congolese military is staying in our house. Do you know what else they are doing? So my family members who couldn't make it to the funeral are coming to pay honor and reverence to my grandfather. The Congolese military who has taken over our house are charging people money to pay homage to my grandfather. And it's happening right now. And everyone is like, do people in the Congo or in Africa have any idea what they are doing to the people of Beni? What they are doing to the people of Butembo? What they're doing to people in North Kivu? They have no clue. Every week I get videos, I get photos, I get images. Some of them I can't even look at them myself. I just can't. You know what I see at the UN? The so-called declared president of the Congo taking pictures with the Rwandan president. When the people of Beni are telling me about 6 months ago, in our neighbor, in Beni, where my family has land and properties, where friends and family live, they had to flee the whole area because the so-called égorgeurs, as they call them, meaning people who cut the neck, who come around, right? They are no longer there, right? My family had to flee because these people are coming to kill them. And then a few months later, a new population showing up around Beni, moving into these empty houses. People rise up, they disappear. And now, the people who were supposed to protect you, right, the Congolese military, is taking over my family house. It's taking over my grandfather's house. It's taking over even the process of people. People cannot see my grandfather's tomb because the Congolese military is charging people money in our property, in our land, to see. People have no idea. They have no idea. I am so, I don't even know if I should say I'm angry. Of course, we will keep fighting until Congo is liberated, but I don't think people are really understanding what has just unfolded. That in the eastern part of the Congo, no matter what's happening in politics, people in the east, family members are telling me that there are people in Kinshasa, they don't even care about what's happening to them. I remember the first time when I started getting information about what happened in Kasai, I was telling a friend, I said, for some of you who don't know what's happening in Kasai, over 100 mass graves were found. And let's just put numbers. Maybe if you say 3 to 4 people in a hole is a mass grave, but I'll use 10. So if I say over 100, then I say at least 10 bodies are in there. Of course, it's small when we talk to those who have been, especially the journalists who were in Kasai, in those areas, who saw the body, right? When you see the numbers, it's over 1,000 people were massacred in Kasai. Reports have been published. Research has been done. They've even put the names on the Rwandan soldiers who have integrated the Congolese army, who are responsible for the death of the people of Kasai in the center of the region. When I heard that what was happening in Kasai, I said, this is what's happening in the east, right in the center. And in the east, in North Kivu, it hasn't stopped. So those folks who are still celebrating Kinshasa, they have another one coming. Because we can't stop. I can't stop. How do you explain can you think about this? My grandfather who fought for Congo, who was a member of MNC, who fought with Mulele, he was chased down by the Mobutu regime in the 60s as they were fighting, had to flee to Uganda, had to come back to Ituri in the north of Congo, bring my entire family into hiding, my mother and siblings into hiding, but they came out of it, and all his life he has stood to fight for a free and liberated Congo. And then about a month ago, or 3 weeks ago, he decided at 89 years old, it's too much what's happening in the Congo. I'm no longer gonna eat. People were trying to force feed him. He refused to eat. He literally killed himself because of what's happening in the Congo. He literally killed himself because of what's happening in Congo. He said, I'm not going to eat another day. I'm tired of running from Beni to Bao, from Bao to Oisha, and so on, because there are these so-called ADF rebels that the Congolese army never catch, so-called mysterious terrorist group who come in neighborhoods and just cut people's head. An 89-year-old man running for his life. He shouldn't be doing that at his age. But he had to go through that. And now that he's passed away, now that we have buried him in our land, in our family land, in our property, the Congolese army has taken over my grandfather's home, my grandfather's house, my grandfather's property, where he's buried, and they are charging people. They are charging people to go see my grandfather's tomb. How crazy. How crazy is that? And all I can think about is, what are the people in Kinshasa doing? They've taken power and they think that they even understand what's happening. They think that because they have nominated them into presidency, that they can actually change the situation when they are in cahoot. They're literally in cahoot with the people there. How do I know they're in cahoot? Oh man, I don't even want to talk about the Ebola outbreak and what is happening with the vaccine and what the people are saying there. They have 2 vaccines. Everybody on the ground is frustrated around this vaccine for Ebola. They're wondering, why are there 2 vaccines? Why is the government fighting over one? It's Merck versus Johnson & Johnson. They're all fighting over this vaccine. Yet people, this is what my family has told me. There is a whole town that's deserted. People have fled their homes. So you go to the neighborhood, it's deserted. And 6 months ago, people who did not speak Lingala, who did not speak Swahili, who did not speak Kinande, showed up in this deserted house and were walking around, and there was a riot. People start saying, who are these people showing up in these houses? And imagine, there are people who have fled over 2 years. They haven't been back home. So my grandfather, who fled his house to not die, he had to flee his home so he would be safe. And now the Congolese army has taken over my family house. The Congolese army has taken over my grandfather's house, and they are charging our family members money to go to my grandfather's tomb. And they want all of us to shut up. They want all of us not to say anything about what's happening on the ground. They think that because they have cut deals with Kabila, they are cutting deals with the Rwandan army. I mean, do you know what kind of deals they've cut in with the Rwandan army? The Rwandan army has operated in Minembwe, all around South Kivu, to do attacks, not just on the FDLR rebel group. They've also attacked some of the Banyamulenge, apparently, because they were against Paul Kagame. And the information that we have is they have attacked them because they are protecting Kayumba Nyamwasa, one of the Rwandan generals who's wanted, of course, by Paul Kagame and who's been living in and out of South Africa. And he's been fomenting trouble in the DRC, trying to build up a military force to attack Rwanda, whatever that's going to happen. So this so-called new president, without consent of the parliament, signs a military deal with the Rwandan army crossing the border without us knowing, and we just informed somehow that the Rwandan military has killed an FDLR rebel. This is the same situation that happened with the so-called CNDP and 23 rebellion. People forget. The so-called director, the chief of staff of Tshisekedi, what's his name again? Vital Kamerhe. Wasn't he the one who came out before saying that he wants the Congolese, that what the Congolese president at the time, Joseph Kabila, did was illegal, to invite foreign military into the Congo, that he will not stand for it as the head of the parliament, and he spoke up Today, as we speak right now, there are military operations of the Rwandan military inside of South Kivu. And I don't have yet the indication of what's happening in North Kivu, but what I do know is that the Congolese military, there are some Congolese soldiers who have come to my family property, to my grandparents' family, my grandparents' land. They took over the land because he fled the conflict last year when les égorgeurs were coming around. And they've come to my grandfather's house, took over it, and now are charging people money. They are charging people money to see my grandfather's house. This is not, man, that's what, this is not even, it's not necessary even to talk about what is the media even saying about the Congo. Just search. What are they saying about the Congo today? There was a so-called election. This guy named Felix Tshisekedi chosen as the president. He's now apparently leading the Congo. There is this UN General Assembly where most of the criminals are there. I'm sure some of you heard Donald Trump's speech. This so-called president, I mean, just think about the people who are in the East today. My family, my grandfather died last Friday because he starved himself to death due to the conflict in the Congo. He said, I'm not going to eat. 2 weeks later, he died, right? And all the family members that we have there, they know Rwanda's involvement in the Congo. They know what the Rwandan military is doing in the region. They know that the people who are killing, the so-called égorgeurs who are killing in North Kivu are not being stopped by the government, right? So they know. When you talk to anybody in Beni and Butembo, they always point to Rwanda and Uganda, specifically even Rwanda. They know that the people who are killing are not from the region, right? So imagine me sending them a picture of Felix Tshisekedi smiling and cheesing with Paul Kagame. And today me getting a call from Beni, right? A call telling me that in Beni today, the Congolese military has taken over my family property and are charging people money for them to see my grandfather's house. Oh man, where do I even start? I mean, I'm very disturbed. I'm very disturbed, and we will not stop speaking up. And I don't care whoever is in power now in Kinshasa, if they think that we will stop fighting for a free liberal Congo, we can't. Everyone from the family I'm speaking to are saying the same thing. It doesn't matter if they take our land today, tomorrow we will take it back. We are inspired by the struggle of the Palestinians who are not standing down. They are fighting every day to regain control of the land. So if they say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, I will always say, in my lifetime, there will be a free and liberated Congo. We will fight till our last blood. I mean, if I even share the pictures of the family members, I don't think you can even understand what I'm trying to explain. They went to bury him in the area where they are killing people. So when they send us the videos of the funeral and the pictures, you see all the young people who are there, right? Especially my great cousins, they all were there, carrying the coffin, bringing it there. And they say, if they're going to kill us when we bury him, they will kill all of us here. They all move. When the so-called Ebola workers came to try to take the body, they all resisted. They say, you will not take our grandfather's body to go burn it. We are going to bury him. They succeeded in burying him. Not everybody from the family was able to make it because, as I shared, they are killing people in Beni. So many people have fled. They know their houses. So to the family's surprise, in Beni, they're walking. They see soldiers in our family land, in our family property. They are sitting in my grandfather's house. The Congolese military is sitting in my grandfather's house. They have taken over the house. And now when other family members are now coming to see what is happening, you know what the Congolese military is? Oh, man. The Congolese military is charging my family money to go see my grandfather's house, buried on our property, on our land, in his house, and the house that they have taken over. So what has changed in the Congo today? What has changed? Why are people in North Kivu still struggling? Why do they have to run from their life? Why should my grandfather starve himself to death and say, I'm tired of this conflict in Congo? So what are they celebrating? Just yesterday, I'm reading an interview that this guy, Felix, man, can you imagine? Maybe some people didn't understand what the fight was about. I think people thought that our fight was about removing Kabila. If anyone has been following me, you have read my writing, I've been very clear about the predatory system that exists in the Congo. And even the article I wrote in December on the Washington Post around the Congo was that. I ended the article by saying, it really doesn't matter what happened in the election. If the Congolese people want to be free and liberated, they will only be free by their feet and numbers in the streets. And if they don't rise, if they don't mobilize in the streets, because in the final analysis, it's up to the Congolese people to transform their country. So I'm clear it's about the system. So I'm reading this Le Monde interview yesterday. So they ask this newly declared president of the Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, a question. They ask him a question about Dan Gertler. Dan Gertler, an Israeli businessman, he lives in Tel Aviv. He has property in Lubumbashi and everything else. I think even Kinshasa. He makes mining deals and so on, right? Dan Gertler. Where do I start? Dan Gertler has a Congolese passport. There is an Israeli businessman who has a Congolese passport. Not only that, Dan Gertler has an Israeli passport. How do I know this information? It's on the U.S. sanctions against him. The Treasury Department, the U.S. Department of Treasury has sanctioned the U.S. Department of Treasury has sanctioned Dan Gertler for his dealings in the Congo. So when you read the sanctions against him, they give you his date of birth, they give you his passport information, right? They have information about his Israeli passport and his Congolese passport. How is that possible? How is it possible that this Israeli businessman has a Congolese passport and an Israeli passport? So Le Monde asks Tshisekedi directly about Dan Gertler and U.S. sanctions because they say, well, Dan Gertler is sanctions. No, will you do anything around this Dan Gertler criminal thug? His response was, and I'm paraphrasing, you can pull up his response. I'm actually writing an article on this as well. I should have it ready sometime soon. So, I'll paraphrase his response. He says that he has met Dan Gertler. He himself, as the new president, he is not a businessman. But there is nothing that says that Dan Gertler cannot do business in Congo. And he also adds, our American friends have never told us that we shouldn't do business with him. So I'm saying to myself, okay, before I used to say maybe this president is not smart enough, he's not advised. But now I'm clear. I don't think it's a question of him not knowing what to do. I think because he compromised himself by making a deal to become president. So he's doing that now. Like, he's doing things that you will never think about. He's meeting with Paul Kagame of Rwanda. is allowing the Rwandan military to operate in South Kivu. Is allowing a foreign military to operate there. Make the matter worse, this is actually on Twitter. So there is this guy. I've never met him. I've heard of his name a few times. I also know that he funded, I don't know how much he gave that. There was a youth movement in Congo he gave money to. I'm going to guess that his heart is in the right place back then when the young people were organizing. I don't know. I don't know him. His name is Luc Gerard. He's a businessman. He made money in investment. Somehow he lived in Colombia. I don't know what kind of dealings he's into. So this Luc Gerard somehow is now the ambassador. Some representative in the cabinet of the president. Maybe he's an economic advisor to the president. So while the Felix Tshisekedi is in New York, they are organizing an investment meeting, right? A meeting with these investors, and he posted it on his Twitter. So I invite you to go to Luc Gerard's Twitter account and see what he posted. So this Luc Gerard posted a picture full of executives of companies. And he tweets and he lists names of the companies. And he says in his tweet that, he's paraphrasing, of course, the quote because I'm not looking at it directly, that the new president, Felix Tshisekedi, is meeting with investors. And he's trying to make it as an appealing thing. So I'm going to throw some names of the investors. Bechtel, Banro, AT&T, and so on. But I started with Bechtel for a reason. Oh man, some people don't read, especially politicians. They don't do their research. How can anybody run for president and don't know who Bechtel is? How can anyone who say, I'm going to be running for president, does not know what Bechtel has done in Latin America or what Bechtel has done in the Congo? Bechtel just research it, what they did in Latin America, how they caused havoc in terms of privatization of water. I'm not going to get into what they did in Latin America. I'm just going to speak about the Congo. In the 1996 war, 1996-1997 war, Bechtel was one of the companies that were engaged in the DRC. And I'll give a context. There was this businessman who was a friend of Bill Clinton. His name is Jean-Raymond Boule. He somehow lived in Arkansas. He founded Bill Clinton's campaign as a governor and later as president as well. Jean-Raymond Boule was one of the financiers of Laurent Kabila and the Rwandans when they invaded the Congo in the 1996 era. What he did, right, with the investment he gave Laurent Désiré Kabila his private plane. So this Jean-Raymond Boule, a friend of Bill Clinton, who has never been held accountable. There is an article, if I'm not mistaken, the article was either a Wall Street article or Economist, one of them, in 97. I think it was Wall Street. And if I find it and I remember, I'll make sure to post it in the description of this video to read that article. I still remember the article vividly because the first paragraph of the article said that Jean-Raymond Boule, as a businessman, is a cruel man. So if you have a financial magazine that's calling somebody cruel, I don't know if you understand. Like, the financial newspapers like Economists, Wall Street, they write for a particular audience, right? So they write for investors. If the newspaper is saying that Jean-Raymond Boule is a cruel man, that already gives you a sense of even how cruel he is. So this guy gave his private plane to Laurent Désiré Kabila. He brought investors with him. So while there was a war, right? The Zairian government with Mobutu, and then on the other side, the Rwandan and Ugandan soldiers with Laurent Désiré Kabila, there were international corporations coming to sign contract with Laurent Kabila. Banro was one of them. There was Bechtel. And what did Bechtel specifically do? Bechtel provided not just the rebels, but also the investors, the geological map of DRC in 1997. The geological map was needed to know where the mineral resources were, as one, and two, the other information they provided was based on location on militaries. How do I know this? I'm sure you can find the information on geological mapping that Bechtel did on the DRC online, and the additional information they provided the rebels, that one I got directly from people who were engaged in the war. So Bechtel, right? Bechtel Corporation, which has looted Latin America, which helped rebels sign illegal contract working with Jean-Raymond Boule in the DRC 97, somehow having a meeting this week with the new president of the Congo. Bechtel. Should I talk about Banro? Banro, they've been sued by investors just last year. Unfortunately, the case didn't move forward. It was thrown out of court in Canada. You know, Banro is a Canadian mining company. They are in South Kivu as well. They own the Twangiza mine in South Kivu. Last time I checked, it was a couple of years ago, in terms of royalty of the profit of that mine, they get 99% and Congo get 1%. They had like 15 to 20 years tax holiday. And you know what they provide to people? They say they do corporate responsibility. So they provide electricity, they fix the roads, they build schools. When you actually pull the number, right, of how much they spend on corporate responsibility, and you look at how much profit the company makes, and how they have a tax holiday in the DRC, it's one of the worst exploitation anybody could. I mean, I don't even want to talk about Banro. So to have a picture of an advisor to the president, Luc Gérard, saying that the president is meeting with these investors, and he lists the name Bechtel, Banro, and so on, I'm scratching my head. That's why I keep saying that. I used to say maybe he's ill-advised. Someone cannot be ill-advised when you become the president of the Congo. Your first trip to the United States is to go to the World Bank and IMF. You know, in the beginning I was saying maybe he's ill-advised. Now I'm like, no, this guy knows exactly what he's doing. Then after, meeting with Barrick Gold. Then after, meeting with Bechtel. Then after, meeting with Banro. And it's on and on. I mean, if you live and breathe the Congo like we do, these names, like I can tell you, go to this report. We even have a website. If you go to conflictminerals.org, we listed 85 companies that has been identified by UN report as pilfering Congo's resources. So you can just go to that website, conflictminerals.org, and you pull up the list and you see the names. We made it even easy for people. And then we list the companies, and at the bottom of the list, we put a link to the source. So if you don't believe what we write, you just read it and you go to the source. So this guy, oh mon Dieu. Banamboka, na ibite se na explique ma kamone. Pendant la lobby, I'm going to switch up a bit because be speaking English, I need to share with my Congolese what's going on. Parce que ba Taliban bazo comprendre rien na makambo ezolekana. Bazo comprendre rien na makambo ezolekana. Koko nanga kufaki semaine passée. boyebi pani na kofi 89 ans. Pendant 2 semaines, à Boyolia. Avant 4 kolia à l'Obibo. A baillé fort que y a 89 ans. Depuis Azamwana, il y a un MNC. Abundana ba mulele. D'abord 60. Il fallait Kimati Uganda, Kotana Ituria Kita. Abundela mboka na biso. 89 ans. Bazo mema ba égorgeur. Bazo kende na Beni. Bazo kende na Butembo. Bazo kata ba mitu ya bato. Donc famille Kimi côté na Beni. Grand-père pe, grand-mère bango nyos balongwa côté ana. Balongwe côté ana. Il y a 3 semaines pratiquement a décidé à koliate. Tuni koko nini, poni koliate. Arabi abaye Congo. Pona nini, yé na 89 ans, chaque fois il faut akima. Bat ba oya ba kati be mitu akimi. Ba kati non, abaya abi ya okimate, aboye ne revivre, a stopper direct, aboye olia. Square aboye olia na pendant 2 semaines, bazo forcer kolia zo boya. Koko ya 89 ans, azo boya olia pona makambo mboka na bino. Abiso nyo se koute. Aboye olia. Puis jeudi passé à Koufi, n'a qu'à se information vendredi, non, Koko à Koufi. Colère mort, donc, un ayoka qui a donc, n'a compris qui déjà les kana, mais moussala moussous nazo sala Nicolo, donc ils ont temps, donc nazo mekakaka, ko zala un peu calme, n'a comprendre ma camionne les kana. Donc nazo l'endra ma cambo famille calmement. Ok? Vendredi, bah décidé bah kendo kunde pour avant ba kunde batwa ba ebola na ba infirmier boy ba boy ba kendo kunda ba lobi que non nzoto ne zana ebola batu nyosa village ba tombo ki mabe ba bi bokozwa nzoto akoko na bisote bokozwa yango te bisoto za donc ba forcer bango ba tester nzoto ba kende. Après, bah, tester nzoto boye, bah, moni que non, Ebola, ezate, bah, bio boko okunda. Bah, toi, femme, non. Et ça, binote, biso, toko tika nzoto na te kokansate que, bozo permettre biso, déjà, tolo baiki que, toko kunda e. Siko bando longwa, place ba kimaki ko kende siko kota Beni. Et puis, il fallait ba kende pe kota mba, ou place, ba terre ya famille za. Pour la koka lobaki, alingi ke ba kunda e, na terre, na biso. Ba kimaki année passée, ba égorgeur ba le kanaï Beni na Butembo année passée. Donc ba ta famille ba longwa ki déjà côté ana. OK? Siko ba ke okunda. Ne pas okendo ko kunda koko binomo webi na nzelana danger. Ce que wa muta Beni abuto yomo yebi okoko kende karabo te okuta na batu bakati yo mutu. Mais batu nyos ba biso ki ba roboma biso le lo ba roboma biso nyos ba kei. Ba kei bakundi koko matanga mukesala ya journée na vendredi batinde biso ba photo vidéo to solena ba famille na mboka kuna na Beni ndeni makamazole kana siko famille petit à petit ba komo zonga place bazo batama pona bino mo réalité à Nord Kivu siko bazo zonga kuna ko batama bazo zonga ba le kanina parler à famille ndako famille boyebi banani bazovanda na kati ndako na biso na be avant la vidéo na ndo sur la master moko na yebisi que non colère moko ezokotanga donc na comprendre teneni na expliquer bato pona na yebisi oyebi mnani yango zovanda na ndako yebisi nga ba Rwandais na yebisi te pire FRDC ba koti ndako na biso ndako ya koko na biso bazovanda na ndako na biso. C'est quoi? Akamwa ki na expliquer na. Mais poni bavandi kuna. Mais na ibisi na silisi masolo te. Moi nezaka partie première partie. Deuxième partie ya likambo ba FRDC na bavandi yana eza kaka partie moko. Deuxième partie eza basoda FRDC bazovanda na ndako na biso, bazwi ndako na biso na Beni, bazocharge membre na biso ya famille mbongo mpona bakende ya tombe ya grand-père. FRDC ezocharge famille na biso, bato bayaki na matanga te siko bazokende na tombo ya grand-père, bazoyebisa bongo bafuta mbongo. Donc soko futi mbongo te otala tombe ya grand-père nanga te. Puis batalibana bazoganga. Est-ce que solo na bato Nord Kivu? Est-ce que solo na bato Beni? Est-ce que bayebi que égorgerana donc ndako kuna eza vide? Bato famille bayosanga oke kuna boye omoni quartier mobimba vide, ndako moko mutu boye holoba mutu wana aza nani? Il y a 6 mois bayebisi ngai que non ezalaki na bato moko baza bakotaki na bandako wana et komaki donc grand problème na kwana bato babimi bangai nayebi te so balingo sa boni balobi kaka ke bamoni bato wana bando otambola bandako bavandi na ndako balobaka swahili te, balobaka lingala te, balobaka kinande te. Wana eza très important mpona tozosolola makambo ya Beni. Soki oza na Beni ozoloba swahili te, ozoloba lingala te, ozoloba kinande te, oza na Beni na Nord Kivu, na quartier eza vide, yo oza nani? Okomi kuna ndenge nini? Nani amemi yo kuna? Me bato baza kuna Nations Unies bazoganga bazosala ba bêtise bake na Belgique bazoganga bazobaluka. On dirait ça coûte liboma eza volonté te. Faut totika nanu makamba liboma eza volonté. Baza bomba te. Bayebi bien makamba bazosala. Pona ceux qui moza liboma, ceux qui pèsent à volonté n'est pas à liboma, pour ozo mutuana, on met mis hôpital, ba soigner, ba toana ba pour soigner bangote. Ils s'en foutent du peuple. En masse, bazo boma bato. Et peut-être que vous comprendre, hein. Koko il y a 89 ans a décidé à liater. Pendant 2 semaines, tia kufa. Pendant ma kamozo le Canada Beni. 89 ans. Ah, bandeka. An 89-year-old man decided not to eat for 2 weeks until he died. He killed himself by starving himself to death. My grandfather, who has fought for Congo, people will never know his fight. They will never know what he did with Hermense. They will never know what he did with Mulele. They will never know how he stood up. He's just one of the people who died. Because maybe they didn't cut his head off, so he's not going to be news. He's just another person who just happened to die. And they'll say, over 6 million Congolese have died due to the conflict. My grandfather would not have died at 89-year-old starving himself if there was no conflict there. Is his death number part of the millions of people dead in the Congo? Is Father Machozi's death a guy who stood up for the invasion of North Kivu? Clearly documented those things. Put it on Beni Lubero online. Father Machozi, I had to find Father's Machozi. I didn't even know he was killed. Father Machozi's death, I saw it on somebody's Facebook page that was being shared. This is somebody that I was hanging out with in Boston. This is somebody I built a website with. We built a website, Beni Lubero, together. There was another one about youth in Masina, banamasina.org that we built together. He always wanted to have this website for youth to provide them with platform. Imagine you know someone, and of course it's not in the news, but you finding out from a Facebook page of another friend, oh, there is someone dead, and they put the picture there. And then the feed comes to my page. I'm looking at the dead body. I'm saying, I know this guy. I'm looking closely, and of course the post saying Father Vincent Machosi. I'm like, wait a minute. I know Father Machosi. We work together. My other uncle was kidnapped 5 years ago. We found his body 3 years ago. So people are being killed every day in Beni. People are being killed. People are being displaced. My family is telling me that there are neighborhoods in Beni, like the whole place is empty. And today, after the burial of my grandfather, no, it was buried on Friday, we finding out that the Congolese military has moved into my grandfather's house and are charging people money. They are charging people money to go see the tomb of my grandfather. How can't anyone not be outraged about this? I need to sit down because, literally for the past 2 hours, I've just been thinking, I'm saying to myself, people really have no idea. They really have no idea. They really have no idea what they are doing in people in North Kivu. These people, every week, are being killed. The people of Kivu deserve better. They deserve better. These politicians really don't care about the people. They really don't. Because if they did, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. They're only interested in power. They're interested in these fancy limousine flights, nice accolades. When the newly elected, I would say nominated President Felix was asked a question about Dan Gertler, what did he say? Dan Gertler, the criminal tag, Dan Gertler, the mafioso, Dan Gertler, the Israeli businessman who has been screwing the Congo since the early 2000s to now, the person who has facilitated the wealth of Kabila, and I actually suspect he must be the one who has connected the Congolese government to Mer Securities, the security firm in Tel Aviv. I'm going to also guess he's the one who has connected the Congolese government to Mossad, to the spy agencies in Tel Aviv, NSO, and Black Cube, they have been spying on Congolese activists. And the current government in the Congo is still using the Israeli Mossad to do intelligence on Congolese activists, creating fake Facebook pages, and organizing, from information I have, targeted attacks on activists on social media. We know who you are. This is what they want us to shut up. They want me to shut up. My grandfather starved himself to death, and he was buried last Friday. And today, the Congolese military has taken over my family property, my grandfather's property, my grandfather's home. And he's buried there. And the Congolese military is charging my family members, money to go see my grandfather's house. And they want us to shut up. They want us to shut up. They want us to say everything is fine. When the people in North Kivu every day, they tell me, I'm not exaggerating when I'm telling you every day, like the amount of images and videos that I get about what's happening in Beni, like if I share even one of them, dead bodies every day. My grandfather had to flee last year. He was 88 years old last year. He had to leave his home in Beni. My grandfather, at 88 years old, had to leave his home because les égorgeurs, which is a French word, meaning the people who cut the head choppers, maybe that's the proper translation, right? They are all over Beni. You 90-year-old woman, you come out, they rape and kill you. You 80-year-old man, they kill you. They're terrorizing people. And what that's causing in his neighborhood where my grandfather lived, like the whole entire neighborhood is gone. The houses are empty. They all have fled and said they will come back one day. So he ran away from his home last year with my family. This year, about 3 weeks ago, he says to everybody, I am tired of what's going on in the Congo. Like he gave up. He's like, what's good? Like I fought in the 60s for these countries, in the 50s and 60s, with the MNC, with Mulele. Young Congolese don't even know those stories. Maybe your parents they have never shared with you. My mother has told me those stories because they had to flee the war in the 60s. And I remember how she was telling me when they were in the forest in Ituri, her and her siblings, they all have to be quiet in the forest. My mom wasn't born in the forest. Why did she spend time in the forest? Who are they running from? My grandfather, who knew that Patrice Lumumba was the democratically elected leader of the Congo, fought. He knew that something was wrong with this so-called coup d'etat with Mobutu. He joined the Mulele resistance to fight for a free Congo. The stories have been passed on from that time to us. Say, we can't forget our land. They are not going to take our land. They've been wanting to take our land. This is not a political analysis. I don't need to write an article about it to tell you that I know people, like my own family land has just been stolen. They buried my grandfather on their land, and the Congolese military has taken over our house. Where's the justice in that? It's just, these are these poor people of Beni. Land has a huge value in my community. I will just share with you some reality about the culture of the Nande people. When somebody is born, you plant a tree. When someone dies, you plant a tree. So there is a forest in our region that the elders can take you to those trees and literally tell you, this is your grandfather, this is your grandmother, this is your great aunt, this is you. Like the tree tells our story. These lands belong to the people. They know their land. Nobody can come today and tell me that the Congolese army owns our land. My parents were born on that land. My uncles and aunts were born on that land. My grandfather owned that land. There is a whole lineage of people. We are clear about our land in Bao. We are clear about our land in Beni. We are clear about our land in Oisha. We are clear about our land in Butembo. And even if 100 years from now, some lunatic comes and say that this is their land, we won't stop fighting. The Congolese army is taking the land of a deceased man who's buried on his land and charging his family money to go see the land. How ridiculous is this? How ridiculous is this? So what will Kinshasa do? This is just another issue in the East. They don't care. I just saw the picture of Felix Tshisekedi, that newly declared president of the Congo, with Paul Kagame of Rwanda. Imagine that picture being circulated in Beni right now. The guy who has butchered the Congolese people, who have butchered my family members. There is a UN report called the UN Mapping Exercise Report. Many Congolese have not read that report. Or even many people have not read that report. It's 500 pages. But you don't need to read the whole report. I'm going to share with you a story from that report. You can search it. You open the UN Mapping Exercise Report and you type in this keyword, Kikyo. 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 It's a village in North Kivu. There was a massacre that took place in Kikyo. It's reproduced in the UN mapping exercise. So people read this report. They don't know that there are people who survived the massacre, right? That there are people who are alive today that we know, our family members who were massacred. They are on the UN mapping exercise report. So this is not theoretical. Okay? They made men open their mouth, and the Rwandan soldiers went across them and were spitting in their mouth. They asked them to be naked, and they raped them in public. They raped men, they raped women in public, and killed some of them. They have documented some of the issues that happened in Kikyo in the UN Mapping Exercise Report. What did the UN Mapping Exercise Report say? That what's happening in the Congo is war crimes, crimes against humanity, and possible genocide if proven in the competent court, and they had identified the Rwandan military as the military force committing genocide in DRC. And the so-called new president meets with Paul Kagame of Rwanda smiling. When your people have been killed by the murderer, your people have been raped by the murderer, your people continue to be killed by the murderer, displaced by the murderer. My family had to flee for over a year. An 89-year-old man had to flee for over a year because of these égorgeurs, those who cut people's heads, who are all over Beni. They want us to believe that these forces are the so-called ADF, the Allied Democratic Forces of Uganda, these rebels from Uganda who the Congolese military cannot catch, yet they can steal my family land. They can take my grandfather's land, but they can't deal with the rebels in DRC. So what will people do about my grandfather? What will the world do about my grandfather? You know? The Congolese military has stolen the land of my grandfather who was buried Friday last week. And they are charging people money for my family members. They're charging them money to go see my father's tomb in our property. And then this week, I see the picture of the newly declared president of the Congo with the Rwandan president, smiling. The guy responsible for the deaths of millions of Congolese in the eastern part of Congo, all across Congo, in Gemena, in Badolite, in Tingi, in the Kasai, in where else? Kitona, like I can go on. The many massacres that have unfolded, documented. Last year I was running on Capitol Hill, trying to get Congress people to investigate what was happening in the Kasai, working with the Office of Karen Bass. And there was another legislator, I don't think it's appropriate to mention the name, at least for Karen Bass, everybody know. We were fighting last year. 100 mass graves were found in the Kasai region. 100 mass graves. That's at least 1,000 bodies buried alive in the Kasai region. 1,000 people buried alive. And they haven't even finished the investigation yet. They've shut down the investigation. So far, nothing is happening. Over 1,000 people buried alive. Over 2 million people in the Kasai have been displaced, pushed into Angola, pushed into Zambia. Do they even care about the people of Kasai? Do they even care about the people of North Kivu? No. What they care about is now the new labels. Now they can drive jeeps. Now they can have $100 million credit line from the IMF and steal 15 million of it. That's another controversy happening. $50 million that they received from the IMF has just disappeared. The World Bank. Just disappeared. Nobody knows where the $50 million is gone. And when the new president was asked about the issue of the $50 million implicating his chief of staff, his response is, no, about the issue, I don't think it's really an issue of corruption. It's an issue of retro commission, which by the way, is actually legal. They don't care about the people. They really don't care about the people. And I'm only doing this video because I'm very, very frustrated and angry that a 89-year-old man, my grandfather, starved himself to death because he was tired of the conflict in the Congo, of the crisis in the Kivus, the killing in Beni and Butembo. He said he refuses to run away from another conflict. He's not going to eat. 2 weeks of starvation. An 89-year-old man died. They tried to take his body and burn it alive, by these so-called Ebola workers. The family resisted. They were not successful at taking his body to burn the body. Then after his burial, he wanted to be buried on his land. He was buried on his land. He was buried on family land. He was buried in his home, in his residence. And guess who's staying in that house? The Congolese military has taken over my grandfather's house. And that's not it all. They've taken over my grandfather's house and now are charging my family members money to go see my grandfather's tomb. My family cannot pay homage to their grandfather, the patriarch of our family, because the soldiers are ransoming people. In our own land now. I'm not talking about he's buried in a cemetery. Like, he's buried on our family land. The Congolese military is charging people money to come see my father's tomb on our family land. And they have taken over the land illegally. Ah, my people. My people, my people. Well, how do I even explain the outrage? Like, How do I break down the frustration I'm hearing from the family? Like when I'm being told what they're doing to us. And you know what? Some of the, not even just family members, because of the work that we do, people share information with us. So they share with us pictures of the dead bodies. They share with us videos of the killings. They expect us to speak up. All of us to speak up. Because they say if we don't speak up, they will continue to kill them over there. They literally depend on us speaking up. And if we don't speak up, who will speak for them? Who will speak for them? Just use a small example. This is a personal experience. Who will speak for my family when the Congolese military has taken over my grandfather's house, who died because of the conflict that's there? There won't be an article about him. Who's going to write an article about my grandfather if it's not a family member? Who cares about this old man who fought for independence in the 50s, who stood up against the CIA coup of the Congo when the democratically elected Prime Minister of the Congo, Patrice Lumumba, was assassinated, who fought with Mulele, who had to run from Congo, protect his family. They had to hide in forests, in the Ituri forest for months. And they were, these rebellions happening, he protected his family, everyone. If he didn't do what he did, maybe I wouldn't be born. Because if my mother survived that time. And he has 34 grandchildren who have also, having children and so on. But he's built his whole family. And a week ago, he said, enough is enough. Actually, not a week, 3 weeks ago, he said, enough is enough. I'm not going to eat anymore. Grandpa, please eat. No, I'm not going to eat. I refuse to run away from another conflict. I refuse to keep being chased out in my own land. He decided not to eat. And he died. And he was buried last Friday. And the family stood up when they tried to steal his body. The family buried it in conditions that I don't think people can even comprehend. It's a conflict zone that mobilized hundreds of people to come to the funeral. Everybody was afraid what may happen to them on the road. They literally kidnap people on the road and they kill people in Beni and Butebu. But they say, you know what, if they're going to kill all of us, they will kill us. We're going to go, we'll bury him. They bury him. The Congolese military take over our house. They are charging people money to go see my grandfather's house. My family cannot see my grandfather's. What I can guarantee you is we will not stop. I will not stop fighting for a free liberated Congo. It will not stop. I will keep fighting until Congo is free. My family will continue to fight until Congo is free. We will fight for our land. We'll make sure that our land gets back to the people. We'll fight for the resources of our land. We'll make sure that the profit from the exploitation of our resources in the Congo goes to the people, no matter what they do. Now it's tough. Now the fight seems much bigger, much tougher than before. But we were clear. I was very clear before December, it's not a bad election. It was never a bad election. What we are fighting for is for a new Congo, where the sons and daughters of the Congo are benefiting from their resources. Not the stupid elite who can post on the Twitter page that they're having a meeting with Bechtel, the company that provided geological mapping to rebels in the Congo during the 96 war. We have to make sure that people like that are no longer taking the lives of the millions of Congolese in their hands and completely destroying their lives. When we have this ridiculous elite, Congolese elite who say that to transform the Congo, we need more millionaires in the Congo. That's their economic policy. Congo needs more millionaires to transform the Congo. And I'm telling you that we are family land. We're not even interested about the minerals that's in our family land. That's not what we are into. We are tied to our land. This is the land of our ancestors. We have trees planted there. These trees tell the story of our people. We're not interested in gold. We're not interested in coltan. My family don't trade in minerals. We live in the air like our land is where the minerals are. The oil that's coming from Lake Edward all the way to Beni. There is the oil that they're extracting from Lake Edward and Lake Albert that goes through the Virunga Park. All that oil is in that region. Nobody in my family is talking about extracting oil. But what they know is they keep pushing them away from the land. They're pushing them off the land. They push my grandparents off the land and come back to find people on our land. Who are these people? What are they doing on our land? And why are they charging money for... That's just one issue. Already I mentioned it. That 6 months ago, there were people in Beni who did not speak Swahili, who did not speak Lingala, who did not speak Kinande. In Beni, my people. In Beni, in a deserted neighborhood, in Beni, and the reason why it's deserted is because of those attacks of the égorgeurs, the people who cut. That's how they call the nickname the killers there, the people who cut the head. So because of those attacks, people have fled areas of Beni. So you walk into a neighborhood, it's empty, and then 6 months ago they see these people in Beni who don't speak Kinande, who don't speak Swahili, who don't speak Lingala. This is not a myth. This is happening right now, while people are dancing in Kinshasa. And what kind of dance are they doing? They're signing deals, multinational corporations, the same corporations listed as pilfering the Congo. The Barrick Gold, the Banro, the Bechtel. I don't even want to say, are they stupid? It's not stupidity anymore. It's not craziness anymore. They are literally, they have the worst neo-colonial agents in Africa today. I was talking to a friend last week, I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And I told him, man, I didn't know I would ever say this, but they are worse than Kabila. The reason why they are worse than Kabila is that they have been, because of the action, be able to divide the Congolese in ways that I've never seen before. People who have common sense now don't even have common sense. A guy who's working into the World Bank to get $100 million credit, $50 million missing, and people are still protecting him. A guy who's meeting with Kagame of Rwanda, a criminal warlord who's destabilizing the whole region and has caused the deaths of millions of Congolese, especially people that I know personally, people in our land, in our family land, in North Kivu. This new president, he's saying that he's met Dan Gotler, the Israeli businessman. That it's totally okay for this businessman to continue business in DRC. He doesn't care about U.S. sanctions. Has he even read what the sanctions says? Dan Gotler has an Israeli passport and a Congolese passport. How come? That's what's in the sanctions. And he also lists the crimes he's committed. He is so corrupt that the United States government has put sanctions on him. And the newly declared president of the Congo is saying, well, our American friends, they never told us that it's bad to do business with Dan Gutler. So these guys literally know exactly what they are doing. They know what they are doing. They are implementing what they're doing. And we, the people who care about the masses of the Congo, the people who want to see the free and liberated Congo, we will not stop. I will not stop. We will not stop until there is a free Congo. And I know, even though right now is a very difficult time for my family, for myself, I know in my lifetime there will be a free Congo.